The All Blacks are close to announcing their November international squad, and in this video I'm going to be giving my November internationals All Blacks XV. Now some of the guys that I've got in my lineup weren't even in the Rugby Championship squad, so it's a bit of wishful thinking, hoping that they get the chance for November. But jumping straight into it, the front row, I have gone number 1 Ethan de Groot, number 2 Cody Taylor, number 3 Tyrell Lomax. I don't see too many changes needing to be made here. For the All Blacks, Ethan de Groot recently returning from his neck injury, which left him out for a few weeks of the Rugby Championship. To Mighty Williams, he had a couple opportunities, but it seemed to be where his impact was best was when he was making his way off the bench. So Ethan de Groot, I would have him as that starting number 1, hopefully getting a little bit more form as the November internationals. We're on Cody Taylor. That man cannot find much more form than he had throughout the Rugby Championship. Some absolutely insane numbers coming from Cody Taylor, including being within the top 10 of the whole competition for running meters, the only forward to be on that list. Number 3, Tyrell Lomax, made a lot of tackles throughout the Rugby Championship. I would like to see them rotate their tight head props a little bit more throughout this next competition, mainly because we have seen so much of Lomax every single game he had to start. I'd like to see Pasilio Tosi get some decent minutes during November. But jumping into the locking duo, this is also where I don't think they need to make drastic changes. So I have got number 4 Scott Barrett, number 5 Tupovai. Now Barrett got better as the competition wore on. He had a couple good performances up against the Australians. Before that though, he looked a little bit lost on his feet. So I would make the argument that Tui Pelotu would be the strongest starting 4, but I do see if Scott Barrett is the captain, he's kind of the guy that you can't switch out of your starting side, if that makes sense. So that is why I've kept him as the number 4. Tupovai, I feel like that man cannot be taken out of that starting lineup, unless there's some sort of injury, of course, but for now, he is in some terrific form, making a huge amount of tackles throughout the Rugby Championship, winning a few lineouts and getting a few steals along the way as well. But that is the locking duo. Now moving on to the loose forward trio, and this is where we see the first sight of a player who was not in that Rugby Championship squad. Number 6, I have gone Wallace Satiti. I'm really happy that he got the opportunity throughout the Rugby Championship, as if it wasn't for that Ethan Blackadder injury, I can't guarantee we would have seen a huge amount of minutes for Wallace Satiti in that comp. But now that he's been given that chance, he's certainly the number 6 for the All Blacks. And the thing is, they have got a lot of other 6 options. And also, Wallace Satiti is a number 8. But the All Blacks love putting people out of position. And Wallace Satiti is going to be, I believe, another player that they do that to. Now, what a lot of people consider the easy switch is Wallace Satiti goes to 8, Ardie Savia goes to 7, and you put Ethan Blackadder or someone along those lines in the number 6 jersey, but they don't do that. And Ardie Savia, I believe, will be a number 8, maybe for the rest of his All Blacks career, unless something drastic changes. So for now, I've got Wallace Satiti as the number 6. Number 7, this is where I've got the man who isn't in the All Blacks squad currently, and that is Peter Lakai. Now that man has got a future in the black jersey. He is absolutely phenomenal at what he does. He's a running 7, which is the complete opposite of what they've got at the moment. Don't get me wrong, Sam Cane, he's a great player, and he's had a great career for the ABs, but it is almost time to pass that torch to the next generation, and Peter Lakai is definitely one of those guys. And Peter Lakai in the Bunnings NPC so far, having 114 carries as well as 110 tackles made. So the man is a workhorse. He's good in the breakdown, getting those turnovers, running meters, defenders beaten is all something that Peter Lakai can offer you if they are willing to take that risk, which I don't believe it's that big of a risk, because only after a few games of Peter Lakai in that All Blacks jersey, I think just like Wallace Satiti, he'll be able to confirm his spot. So I do hope he gets the opportunity to at least be in the All Blacks squad. But if he is, I really hope they don't do what they did to Billy Proctor for Peter Lakai. Number 8, Artie Savia. Seeing as they're not really willing to make that switch to making him a number 7, I have kept him as the number 8, but I really think when you look at this loose forward trio, Wallace Satiti, Peter Lakai, Artie Savia, that is a dangerous trio that could wreak havoc in the world of rugby if they go with it. We'll have to wait and see if they do. But number 9, this is where I've gone Cortez Ratama. Now, there is a chance that Cam Roigard does return for the All Blacks in the November internationals, but I think for a start anyway, I would still give Ratama that opportunity to start a game, mainly because we've at least seen him throughout the Rugby Championship, and he does seem to have more impact when he starts than when he does make his way off the bench. Number 10, I have gone with Beauden Barrett. Now, a lot of people have been asking for that change for quite some time. Damien McKenzie, he's had an on and off Rugby Championship competition. This November international tour that the All Blacks have got of the Northern Hemisphere, they're going to be playing Japan, Ireland, England, France, as well as Italy. This is the time that if Beauden Barrett wants to be a fly half and Razor wants him to be that number 10, show us what you can do. Give McKenzie a couple opportunities. Have McKenzie coming off the bench in the other games. Let's see if Beauden Barrett, if the hype is going to live up to expectation, and let's see if he can do it. We know he can from the past, but is he still that same player? I think he's got a good chance to do so, and with who I've selected at number 15, it actually works quite perfectly. But we move on for now to the midfield combination. Number 12, Anton Leonard-Brown. The injury of Geordie Barrett. It's come at a terrible time for Barrett, seeing as he's just about to head over to Leinster for a sabbatical. But at the same time, it's opened a massive door of opportunity for some of these other centres that haven't had much of a crack. Anton Leonard-Brown, I think, was phenomenal throughout Super Rugby Pacific. So him going into that number 12 jersey, I think would be a seamless transition. Number 13, this is where I've actually gone Billy Proctor. Now, they possibly won't do this, and I really want them to do it, because Billy Proctor, he can't prove himself until they actually are willing to give him that chance. Now, Rieko Ioane has had so many chances, and with the exception of maybe 2 good games, he's butchered them all. Whereas Billy Proctor, he's had 1 chance up against the Fijians where he had a man-of-the-match performance, and they haven't used him since. Maybe he doesn't fit that mold that they are looking for at number 13, but I think the combination of Anton Leonard-Brown and Billy Proctor, what's the worst that can happen? If it works out, perfect. You've got a good combo, and you can have Ioane coming off the bench, or perhaps even returning to the wing, but for now, that's the combination that I really want to see for the All Blacks. Now moving on to the back 3 though. Number 11, Caleb Clark. This one's pretty easy. 6 tries throughout the Rugby Championship, the leading try scorer of the competition. Defenders beaten, meters made. He is on fire at the moment. The only thing that's hurting him a little bit is the amount of yellow cards that he's been receiving recently, but if he can avoid that, he's going to be a great player out there on the left wing. And I really like Caleb Clark's mentality, because he was a guy only a few years ago. A lot of New Zealanders will remember this period where a lot of people didn't want to see him in that All Blacks kit, and he's gone away after that period. He's got a lot fitter, he's got a lot stronger, and he's really worked on his game, and that's the type of thing that a coach absolutely loves to see. The fact that he's committed to trying to get to that next level, and currently, I think he's found it, so hopefully they give him plenty of opportunities throughout November. Number 14, this is where I've gone with Imoni Narawa. Now, that may be a bit of a surprise, because once again, he wasn't in the Rugby Championship squad, but with the exception of Will Jordan, who has stepped up on that right wing, Sever Reece, I think, has been lackluster and below par. Now, that doesn't mean he can't find his form like he had throughout Super Rugby Pacific, but just currently at this point in time, he's having more bad games than he's having good. But then with the selection of Rieko Ioane, maybe that's something that Scott Robertson quite enjoys, having a guy that is out of form that he can then get into form. So there is a chance that we still see Reece out on that wing. The other option they've got is to switch Mark Delia from the left to the right, but I feel like they still want a little bit of backup for Caleb Clark just in case there are any injuries or another card, but this time being a red one. But Imoni Narawa, I think, would really fit in with this All Black squad. He's had some good numbers throughout the Bunnings NPC. So this is the opportunity, I believe, with the November internationals, 5 matches. You got plenty of chances to see what works. And it doesn't even have to be a Moni Narawa. It could be Sean Stevenson. It could be Kini Naholo, Timothy Tavatavanawai, who is tearing it up for Tasman in the Bunnings NPC. Just something a little bit different to give a guy a chance. See if you've got a future superstar on your hands. Number 15, this is where I've gone Will Jordan. That is why I had Beauden Barrett as the number 10, because I feel like Jordan, from the games that we saw up against the Australians, the first match, he was really strong for the first maybe 25, 30 minutes, then completely disappeared. The second game, he was stronger for longer, managed to stay in the contest for a majority of it, which is exactly what the All Blacks will want at number 15, plus his attacking style of managing to find the smallest gap and run straight through it with pure pace could bode very well for the matches in November. But that is my All Blacks starting XV, ladies and gentlemen. Do let me know what your All Blacks 15 looks like for the November internationals. I do think there'll be a few changes, particularly in that forward pack. I could see people trying to get rid of Scott Barrett maybe for Patrick Tuipulotu, perhaps even Derry. They would give him another chance, just like they did up against Argentina. But do let me know, of course, the All Blacks will be announcing their squad on Monday. So as soon as they do that, we will have an updated All Blacks XV, seeing as maybe one or two of these guys might not actually get selected in Scott Robertson's All Black squad. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.